dancing is a form of art that exemplifies ethnomusicological studies through its cultural origins and evolutions in music. The best title to describe tap dancing is Afro-Irish. This term seems like there are only two cultural influences on tap dancing when there are actually three main ones: African, Irish, and English. In the 1650s, there was a war going on between England and Spain. In the midst of it all, Irish families were uprooted and deported to the Caribbean. Here in the Caribbean, it was being colonized by the English, who brought over African slaves to work in the fields, many of these Africans were later deported to the American colonies. Irish families who came became indentured servants here in the Caribbean, and they worked alongside the Africans. Not only did they work, they also lived and danced alongside them as well. This was one of the first ways that the Africans and Irish and of the three cultures started melding together. The Irish dancing elements included having a stiff upper body and also their arms at their side. And there was also many crossings of the feet and legs. These dances were often choreographed ahead of time and were categorized based on the number of beats that were made by the foot during each musical bar. And the typical footwear that they had was either a soft or a hard-soled shoe, which made different percussive pitches. Some elements of African dancing included having their feet and rhythmic elements such as the sliding and shuffling of feet. And unlike the Irish dancing elements, they did not have their body in a stiff position, but more relaxed, and improvisation was encouraged. One popular African dance was called the Juba, and in this dance, there was more of competition of two performers going back and forth and challenging each other's technical skills. These elements of competition and improvisation are reflected in tap dancing today. An English dance that was very popular was clocking, and in this dance it was mainly performed from the knee on down, with wooden shoes called clogs. So this dance was more auditorily based versus a more visual based dance, like the others we've already talked about. So eventually the clogs were deemed too heavy to wear during a dance, and they were exchanged for leather shoes. And these leather shoes usually had pennies on the bottom or a type of metal to make more distinctive sound.
As tap dancing came to America, its multicultural background fused to become one of America's first original art forms. It's like the melting pot of dance in American history. In the early 1800s, African and Irish immigrants worked side by side in Five Points, New York, also known as modern-day Chinatown. So tap dancing served as a result of the African rhythms and Irish movement coming together. As early tap settled its roots in America, it's shown that it's connected with jazz and American comedy. Tap dance also emerged from African American body percussion. When drums were considered too rebellious, body percussion became more popular. This, along with the improvisational characteristics of tap dance, considers it a form of jazz. Tap dancing served as a form of entertainment in cellars and concert saloons in the mid-1800s. By early 1900s, minstrel shows propelled the dance form to vaudeville. There in vaudeville, tap dance quickly became associated with American comedy as it continued to settle its roots and form what it is today. Once tap fused and was established in America, it was considered a universal language. This meant that no matter what language people spoke, anyone could come together in this practice. As immigrants continued to come to America, tap continued to grow because of its lack of barrier between people.
Tapping in today's time can be broken down into two main styles. The first one is Broadway tapping. This style focuses on choreographed dance, and it's very, very showy. As the name suggests it, these types of dances are in musicals and Broadway productions. This style focuses on how the dance looks. Some examples of musicals or Broadway productions that include tap dancing are 42nd Street, Singing in the Rain, Anything Goes, Chorus Line, and variety is called rhythm tap dancing. This style focuses on the musicality, and the artists use this dance as a percussive element. This is about how the dance sounds. Sometimes, in places like Chicago and New York City, you can see street performers showcasing this style to gain the attention of the citizens walking by. In terms of training for tap dancers, it varies between formal and social training. Formal training could include being in a class or taking lessons from a personal studio. On the other hand, social training means teaching yourself all the skills or having them passed down through the generations. In America, most serious dancers have gone through lots of years of formal training, including myself and Carolyn. However, in many other cultures, social training is more common as they pass down the skills to others and teach their friends.